Okay, so here I am with my loyal assistant, Rizzo. Say hi, Riz. Have a slip lead. So Rizzo's not wearing a flat collar, so we're just gonna ignore the safety altogether, but hypothetically, if he was wearing a flat collar, this would just clip onto the D-ring of the flat collar. I'm gonna take it off just to minimize the bulkiness of the lead for the video. Okay, so here's the slip knot. The slip knot, if it becomes too easy to move on the line, because the whole purpose of it is it acts as a stopper, right? So you can fit the leash and size it perfectly to your dog's head. So if it becomes loose at any point, the reason I used a slip knot is because you can just take both ends like this and tug as hard as you can. Some people don't have a really strong grip strength, so unfortunately I will put my teeth on one side and pull. Since I was a little girl, my mother has told me not to do that, so don't tell her. But or you can grab like pliers and pull both sides, whatever helps you make this as tight as possible. We don't want it to be loosey-goosey. So based on the two ways that you fit this on the dog's neck, both of them though align in the fact that when it goes over the dog's head, thank you, Rizzo, you want to make sure that it goes under the chin and sits at the highest part of the neck. So Rizzo, the base of his skull meets the highest point of his neck here. There's like a divot. You want to make this so that, let me see if I can zoom in on this just a tiny little bit. So when I put this on him, this is me giving as much pressure as I would if I were giving him some sort of an interruptive, corrective movement on the leash. So if I want to pull this as tight as it would go without choking the dog, and then I'm gonna slide this slip knot so that if I were to pull as tight as it goes, it's only gonna leave me with about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of space between the O-ring and the slip knot, like so. So it's gonna sit naturally snug on the dog's head. Rizzo, here. Good angel. Oh. So it's gonna naturally sit, wait, thank you. Okay, good boy. So it's gonna naturally sit snug once you do that on the dog's neck, but it's not giving constant pressure so that you can still do pressure and release, because the important part of this leash being a device to use for communication is if our means of communication is pressure, we need to also have the release in combination, because pressure is what we give to elicit something from the dog. So to get him to move in our direction, to get him to sit, so on and so forth. When we do pressure, the second we get what we want from the dog, we need to release. Pressure to get what we want, and then we need to release. So if this was too tight like this, we wouldn't be able to give pressure. It'd just be constant pressure. There'd be no ability for us to release, and then the dog would get frustrated and the whole device wouldn't work. This is the same way that you manage the slip knot and how to fit it on your dog's neck for when you're using, here, thanks Angel, the power loop. So I'm gonna cross it under his chin, pop it over the muzzle, make sure everything is high and tight up here on the muzzle. Oh my God, I have the laziest assistant in the world. Thanks Rizzo for always keeping me on my toes, bud. So I want this all the way up here, and I want it all the way up here on the back of the neck, just like we did if you were using the method where it's only around the dog's neck. I'm gonna pull this so that if it were to go as tight as possible, it's only leaving me 1 inch of room between the O-ring and the slip knot. I hope that's helpful.